Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tom coming to you from the Aces Cruising Studios here in Florida. Thank you for joining me. This is just going to be a quick video about travel insurance and why you should have it for all of your trips, and some of the things that I've seen personally as an agent of over 10 years of the risks of not carrying it. I mean, the number one reason to carry it, and the most obvious reason, is being airlifted off the ship, emergency evacuation. I've seen it more than you care to know. I had a guest over the weekend that witnessed it himself. Unfortunate situation where they had to bring a helicopter out to the ship and airlift somebody out from the ship to the nearest hospital. And when you don't have travel insurance, you become your own insurer, and that comes right out of your pocket. Minimum about $100,000 or something like that. So it's a major, major cost if you do not have insurance. When you do have insurance, good insurance, we use Allianz here at Cruise Planners. They're first payer. They don't ask you to get anything other than the paperwork that is needed to file the claim. You don't pay for the emergency transportation up front. They take care of it for you. They also have it depends on the instance, but they'll have somebody come out. Well, if you're in the hospital, let's say you're in another country, you don't speak the language, they'll have somebody there to translate for you. Read the documents you need to look at, what's your diagnosis, whatever's happening. They're there to help you along the way, not only just financially, but also with support on the ground. So when you have that insurance and that protection, you really have a peace of mind that's going to benefit you, God forbid, if anything happens to you or your family or your friends that are traveling with you. So if you don't have it, it becomes a little bit more logistically problematic. You're supporting yourself. You're counting on the local authorities, the local hospital, which may be great, but they might not speak English. They might not speak your language, and they might not provide the care that you are needing without, paying up front or having some sort of security that they're going to be taken care of payment wise. And that's a big concern, especially in countries that aren't as prepared to support a medical incident, especially for a foreigner that's not going to ever come back to their country. So it's a big concern, and it has happened to a couple of guests of mine. This was years ago, but he didn't pick up the insurance, and he wasn't feeling well on the ship. Went to the medical doctor, and they had told him, you've had a heart attack, sir. You must get off at the next port. Made him go to the hospital in Mexico. Well, come to find out, he didn't have a heart attack. It was a regular heartbeat. So it didn't have insurance, so he had no way of to negotiate the pricing and all that with the cruise line, who charged him $7,000 before he even got off the cruise. So that's a big issue. And when you have that insurance, you don't have to go have those difficult conversations. Of course, insurance comes at a cost. It is part of your expense when it comes to traveling, when you elect to take it. And, it's a double-edged sword. I think we all know insurance is only there for you when you need it. And if you don't use it, you kind of feel like, well, I've wasted my money. It's tough. I understand that. I understand that. I've been there. But it's just something you really have to, even if you think that nothing could ever happen or whatever, you really need to have it to make sure that you're covered in case something does happen. And it's just an unfortunate reality of leaving the country, because any local insurance, your job insurance, usually has a stipulation, or Medicare, Medicaid, usually has a stipulation in there. If you're outside of the country, we're not going to cover you. I'm sure there's outreach you've got all the private stuff like the uh, Give, Send, Go, and all the stuff, the fundraisers. You could probably reach out to your local church if something happened, or charitable organizations, but that's you're chasing it at that point. So it just makes your life a lot more difficult on top of dealing with whatever had happened on you. Whether you broke your leg or you had a medical issue or missed the ship. And now that's a little different. And we'll get to that, because that's usually chalked up to a mistake, and those aren't covered. But it's really important to think about what would happen if you were on a trip and something did happen and you didn't have any insurance to cover you. And it's also important. A lot of people I hear, they look to their credit card company to help them. Well, it's very limited what they cover. They might have something in there, covers your bags or even your person to some extent, but it's usually pretty limited. So you always need to be well versed in that if you are going to choose to go that route. The Allianz policy that Cruise Planners offers is a worldwide travel protection 24/7, built specifically for travelers, built specifically for cruisers or people that are going out, um, land vacation, all inclusive. They have other packages too, like let's say you're going to go climb Mount Everest or something. They've got special protections for adventure travel and things like that we could dig into, but that's more of a rare one off. I'm talking about being fully covered for your trip, door to door. And it's those instances when you don't have it, or even it's as small as, say, I had a guest, they had their flight delayed and they had to rent a car from somewhere. I think it was Jersey City, so New Jersey Airport, and they, instead of taking it was like a next day flight, and they're like, nah, I'm not doing that. So they rented a car and drove home. The insurance company covered their rental car. It was about $300. So that stuff like that you maybe not think of, that they'll cover for you. So anytime something irregular happens, or before you leave your house, or right when you drop your bags off the airport, I always tell people, take pictures of your bags. It does help you to recover them. You can go, if you go to the airport now, I can't find my bag. What does it look like? Oh, it's black. Every bag is black. So if you have like a luggage tag on there, that's smart. You take a picture of it with the luggage tag showing, and you can show it to people. You can show it to the insurance company. Hey, I cannot find my bag. It's been gone for a week. What can we do? Or if you're on the ship and my bag's lost, you got to go buy 10 shirts and 3 pairs of shorts. They'll cover that. So it's just little things too that can add up real quick, that the insurance company will cover up to a certain point. Of course, they're not going to, give you a whole new wardrobe, but they'll cover it up to sometimes it's 500, sometimes it's 1,000. It just depends on what you're trying to do. So it's a good value, especially when you have to use it. Of course, when you don't have to use it, it's just one of those things. And there's just been too many instances that I've seen over the course of over a decade in this industry that not having insurance will do to you. It just makes it too tough, too difficult to navigate all the waters, pay the fees, pay the fines, and then try to like find a way to recoup that money, or even find the money, because a lot of people just don't have 100,000 sitting around to buy a helicopter ride that they didn't want. Most helicopter rides that are excursions and things are about $1,000, but the medical ones, going out to the ocean and everything else, with the manpower, the special equipment that they need, and the ship having to stop and everything else, that's all fixed in. And it's up to $1 million in most coverages, most policies, emergency evac. So you really never see a bill. And that's really what it comes down to. Of course, there's special circumstances everywhere. Sometimes things happen, medical, that, what happened here? Well, you write out a displacement letter and give your documentation. I've never had anybody denied a claim of insurance, not that to my knowledge. And most payments are made out within a week of submitting the claim. As long as you've submitted all the proper documents and paperwork, you're whole within a week. So lots of things to consider. I just see it too often where people don't take the insurance, and it makes me nervous because they might have a circumstance where they need it as well, and they're just not taking it. Um, so always think about insurance very seriously and make sure it's appropriate for you not to take it. I've had people not take it and need it, and then they take it for the rest of their time. That's I hear that quite a bit. They have to learn the hard way, unfortunately. I've never had anybody airlifted off the ship, thank God. I've had people have medical issues on board and beforehand too. I just had it happen last fall, about 2 weeks before the cruise. Somebody was diagnosed with a pretty major illness, couldn't go on the cruise, and I think about $13,000 was lost. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't go on the trip. I guess she could have went on the trip, but then if anything were to happen while she was on the trip with her illness or anything else, she would have been covered or been able to be treated. That was, I think, the big notion there. So, and once your doctor says you're not fit to travel and you try to buy insurance, they're gonna find that and they won't cover you. So it's just things like that you got to be cognizant and aware of. But I'm here to help, here to let you know what the details are on the insurance, and just ask me the questions. I'm always going to offer it to you and show it to you, and hopefully you'll take it, and hopefully you'll never need it. That's the goal. Is just never need it, and just have great trips and great memories to carry home. And really, at the end of the day, you're not going to remember that you spent money on the insurance, especially when you have such a great time on the cruise or the vacation, whatever you may choose. So I'm Tom, coming to you from acescruising.com. I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to call me, email me, or post questions here on this video, and I'll try to get back to you via comment or just privately. acescruising.com for all your cruising needs. Till next time, I'm Tom. Cruise away.